Here we are again, as happy as can be, all good friends and jolly good company. I did absolutely nothing down here yesterday because of the Grand Prix, and I went out in the morning to do a little bit of shopping at Lidl's, and then by the time we got back, I had to put a pelmet up for my brother-in-law as well. By the time we got back, it was the Grand Prix, and all the coverage of that didn't finish till about 5 o'clock, I think. And so it was a bit late to come down here and do anything. And well done, Lando, by the way. Nice one, son. Good old Glastonbury boy. So, yeah, nice one. But I'm not a great lover of Max Verstappen, but he's a phenomenal driver. With like the second half of the season coming back like that. But yeah, well done, Lando. Anyway, what did I pick up at Lidl's? I hear you say. I picked them up. 2 300mm clamps, $6.99. You can't argue with that. So I might, let's get that out of the way. Put them down there. Have I got any nippers handy? No, let's try it with the scissors then. Oh. Nippers would be better. Nippers would definitely be better. Okay, cokey. I must have some nippers over here in my electrical section. Let me find ones. Let's just get me normal ESD ones. Yep. So much easier. Whoop. Yeah, they're oiled as well. And what's that do then? Is that? How do we work these? Does that go up or down? Or does it slide? Good. Like that. Oh, so that's at the back, really. Yeah, they look all right. I think that can be swapped over and turned round, I think, for a spreader. I think. That'll do. That's another 2 for my bundle. And if I do go out again, I might actually nip back and get another 2. So they're always handy with stuff. But yeah, the deal was either 2 large ones for $6.99. That's the details, by the way. Or you could get 2 medium and 2 small for $6.99. They also had a deal, or if you got the Lidl Plus card or app on your phone, they had a Parkside Pro, that's the performance range, or Parkside Performance rather, and for $29.99 you get a 12 volt drill starter set, which is very similar to that, only that's a Bosch. But for $29.99 you get the drill, 2 batteries, a fast charger, masonry bits, wood bits and screwdriver bits, I do believe, for $29.99, and you get a bag to put it all in. Now that ain't bad. I'm sorely tempted, but somehow I've got to sneak it past the missus, because she'll go mental if she sees me buy that. Anyway, back to today's, or the continuation of this project. I've just found out, because I bought a 300 by 300 down there, and no matter how I angle it, I cannot cut that top bit. So I'm a bit snookered, but I have got some more A3 plywood coming that hopefully should be here today, but I'm going to tinker around with that just a little bit more to make double sure I can't fit it on. But and I've been thinking about the next build, the arcade machine, whether I should build that out of 5mm, which in that case I think I would have to go to B&Q, buy a sheet, say like an 800 by 600, and get them, chop it down the middle and across into 400 by 300s, or maybe get a half sheet and get them to do that, because it's very expensive to buy pre-cut online, and I think it's only about £11.50 for a half sheet of 5.5mm. So I might have to give that a couple of passes. Anyway, I'm rambling on. I want to see if I can somehow fit that on a 300 by 300, and then I want to cut, because I've only got one piece of A3 left, and I want to cut the front to see if the measurements from my screen is okay, and that can just drop in, and that. And I've also thought, because I got the base the wrong way around, that hole is in the wrong place, so I'm going to have to screw that down to the base and remark it. Also, I've been thinking about, for servicing, what panel do I leave loose? Do I leave the back loose so I can get in there, or do I leave the front loose? I think it's going to have to be the front, for the simple reason, if I leave the back loose, I don't know how I'm going to get to these screws, whereas with the front I can get to everything, the amp, transformer, computer and all the wiring, whereas the back, I think I'm going to be a bit limited, especially if I have the transformer and the computer. I'm not going to be able to get to them, so we'll see. I might even mount something up on the side or that, but I won't really be able to see that until I'll get everything together. Anyway, let's do something. Okay, that's the front cut, and I'm interested to see how this goes on with the slope, but if it does go on, as I said, these fingers are mega tight. That's what I'm going to play with next when I finish this, I think. Oh, this is going to be a bit of a nightmare to get in, I think. Yeah, I'm going to have to definitely play around with that, but that's, once it's in, that's what it should look like. I don't know how this is going to fit in. I might have to, I'll see what it's like when it's fitted, and because I might have to sand that all down or try and round it over or something, but let's try and get it in first. Well, that was a fight, and it's I'm not going to glue it anyway, but I don't think there will be a need to glue it with the battle it took to get that on, but it's not come out too bad along there. Maybe run a bit of filler over it, but the trouble is, if I want the front to be removable, I don't really want to run filler over it. Hopefully I won't be removing it too often, so it's like, I don't know whether to fill it. The trouble is, if I paint it, it's also gonna ruin the paintwork, so I might have to think of something for that. Anyway, this is the moment of truth. Did I cut, or did I get the cut out right for the screen? Oh, perfect, perfect, lovely. Have you got any wiggle room? A little bit. Good. So I can centre that up, and then I've got to work on how I'm going to fix it. And there is a bow in the middle there. Is there a bow at the bottom as well? Yeah, a little bit. Ah. Okay. Okie dokie. I wonder if the top will hold that out. I have to wait until, that's the trouble with 3mm ply, so flexible. Oh, and while I'm at it, I forgot, I'll give a shout out to Mad Mike Messer, who is my second subscriber. So now I have 2. Yeah. And if you are watching, Mike, I did watch your Mike Messer original video, and 40 years ago I would have laid down a wicked drum beat to that, along with in the AC/DC vibe, which is to the point really, a nice thumping drum beat. So I used to be a drummer, by the way. 15 years I was a drummer in a rock band, but yeah, 40 years ago I would have probably collabed with you on that, because yeah, the minute you started playing and got into the main rhythm, I started thinking, oh, you can do this, you can do that, you can do that, thump it like that. But yeah, thank you anyway, Mad Mike. Now back to that. Yeah, I've got to think about the bow. I'll see how the bow is when I put the top on. How is it when you touch it? You don't notice it. Yeah, moves that. Looks absolutely okay by me. Now I've just got to work out how I'm going to mount it. There are some, I could take the 3M tape off and just stick it, but there are some little holes here, and I'm wondering if I can 3D print, or even just do some cuts and just use a block of wood, screw through there, and maybe smaller pieces on the end like that to clamp onto the inside. I might have a look at that next. Well, another 4 pieces of A3 have arrived, but as always with this stuff off of Amazon, it can be a bit iffy, shall we say. Now this is a different batch from what the rest of it's cut from, so it could be varying thicknesses, but this one was also slightly warped, so that is just a really strong magnet I've shoved in the middle so it doesn't put the cut off, but we'll see how that goes on. Look at the thickness of that. I don't know whether you can see it. That there, I somehow got a feeling that might not survive. And also, just while I got you out whilst you're out to play, the one thing about the Creality Falcon A1, the interior LED strip for when you're taking photos is a bit shit, so I've rigged up another light to go above it so I can get better photos, so I can actually see where I'm placing my cuts. I think I've got some serious rethinking to do here, because getting that top bit on was a mega battle. I managed to not snap the little bits off. How, I don't know, but with me saying I was going to take the front off, I don't think that's going to be something I can do. because to get these ones and them ones in down the bottom on the angles is a mega nightmare. Yeah. So I've got to decide if I take the back off, it'll be easier, but then I've got the front screws to worry about, because I won't be able to get anything in there to undo them unless I change them for bolts, and I can get at them with an Allen key then, which would make sense. But there is no way, if I take this off, it's going to go back easily. Even if I sand it, I don't think it will go in easily. So I'll have to have a look at taking the back off, and I'm going to do some research to see if I wonder if I can clamp it up dry, how strong the joints would be if I just run round the joints with hot glue or something. Because trying to glue all these fingers and get it all in place and clamped is not going to work. I don't think the glue will probably go off by the time I got it clamped, so I've got to have a look at to see whether there's anything I can do with the sides and everything in place. And the mounts on the back of the monitor are not 2mm or not 3mm, which I've got loads of screws and bolts for 2 and 3mm. They're 2.5, and the only ones I can find so far that are 2.5 are plastic, which I don't think is going to do a very good job, but I'll see how that goes. But yeah, and then if the back does come off, at least I'll be able to run filler along the angles. But I think even the back's going to be a nightmare with that many fingers. I wish I'd bloody remember to redesign the fingers. But the push fit on it, it's really tight. That's why it's a nightmare to get together, so it doesn't really need any glue. But we'll see what we can do. Right, the first look at the console and the base put together. That's what it's going to look like from the front. And I have been, and that's the back. I sanded every single one of these fingers, so that should come off relatively easily. Well, it did until I clamped them together, and that should just swing up and come off. So it's like I'll probably have to put a little pull handle or something, but that's what I've done. And at the front I've put hex bolts so I can get a little Allen key on there. I've marked the new position of that hole, but I've got some serious thinking to do now about because I don't want to take this apart again. So I might, that little 50mm box where I was mucking about with the kerf and that, I might cut a couple of them and try a few different things and see how that goes. But and then depending on that is what I'll do to the top to put it all up. But that is about all I'm going to film today, unless something else crops up. I did buy a couple of other things from Parkside or from Lidl's. I bought a little drill set, which is just a HSS drill set. They've got hexagonal, so they fit straight into the drill. They were £4.99, I think, and a little lighter, just a little stormproof lighter, which was £1.99, because basically I haven't got a lighter anymore since I stopped smoking. Yeah, but that is it for today, unless something else crops up worthy of filming. But I'm just going to cut some more boxes, do some tests with 2 different types of glue on the inside, not on the fingers, just to see the strength and how it turns out. Okay, see you tomorrow, hopefully.